What is going on, Guardians, and welcome back to another Destiny 2 gameplay video. And in this video, you're going to be seeing gameplay just from one of my D2 PvP solo queue streams that I did recently. And lots of fun plays and lots of aggression. So hope you enjoyed the gameplay. There's lots of aggression in this gameplay. It's a 23.0 KD. Well, I'm sorry, efficiency. A 23.0 efficiency match in here. Some double SMG, some sniping, and lots of pulse, Time War inspired pulse rifles. Hopefully you enjoy that gameplay. In the meantime, I wanted to chat about what's to come. So we got this Move Fast update coming here at the end of March. So if you're not familiar with the update that is in or out, it's going to involve some movement speed buffs across the boards, buffs to the mobility stat, and increased movement speed on some of the supers. In addition to that, they have noted that there will also be some buffs to particular weapons and particular weapon archetypes, including pulse rifles and hand cannons. So with the news that we've been given, now we don't have full details on the Sandbox update yet. We don't know exactly the specifics and percentages of these buffs yet, but I'm going to make some preliminary predictions on what might be really good come the end of March. So once we get this update, what are the things that are going to be on top? So first and foremost, we'll talk about subclasses. I think that when we're talking about movement speed and mobility stat buffs across the board, I think that Night Stalker and Striker, which are already currently on top, are only going to get better. So you're going to see more invis, shade stepping hunters with the jesters, all that business. You're going to see more of that. So Night Stalker's stupid good right now, and it's only going to get better. The Striker is already the most used Titan subclass as well in PvP, and I think that Striker is going to get even better as well with the increased movement speeds, the undoing of the nerf to shoulder charge. They're going to revert those changes, so shoulder charge is going back to the way that it was. You're going to have more options with shoulder charge. Also, you're moving faster in your super. You've got potential Titan skating because they're buffing the Titan jump abilities. And yeah, so Striker obviously going to be pretty freaking good as well. I think that you're also going to see a little bit of an increase to gunslingers. Now, gunslingers are uncommon as it is, but I think people might be even more inclined to use them, and this ties in with the weapon buffs later. But if hand cannons are getting a buff, that makes throwing knives is sort of like the tide that raises all the ships. If hand cannons are getting better, throwing knives are getting better. They kind of go hand in hand. This is we're no stranger to the way that hand cannons and throwing knives can interact with each other and play off each other's strengths. We saw that a lot in Destiny 1. Also, with people moving a little bit quicker across the boards, trip mines might be even more effective than they currently are as well. So you may be seeing some more gunslingers in the PvP arena as well. Now, in terms of weapons, I think I'm going to make a few predictions here as well. I think you're going to see a rise in the popularity of high rate of fire pulse rifles like the Autumn Wind, like the Time War Inspire, like the current Trials pulse rifle. I think you're going to see an increase to the use of those pulse rifles. They're going to get, if pulse rifles are getting a buff, these guns are already pretty good, but if they're going to get even better, then man, they may potentially be melting machines. And we're no strangers to a meta that favors pulse rifles. We saw that in Destiny 1. We saw Hawksaw, PDX, Clever Dragon, Grasp of Malik. With Clever Dragon and Grasp of Malik being on the higher rate of fire end, just like the archetypes I'm talking about here in Destiny 2. So I think you're going to see a resurgence in the use of high rate of fire pulse rifles, which I think is cool. I always enjoyed pulse rifle meta in Destiny 1. I enjoyed the sort of precision and gunplay that goes into using pulse rifles effectively, so that has me a little bit excited. Anything that makes frickin' Uriel's Gift sort of go on the decrease. I'm so tired of seeing that stupid gun. I mean, when I first got my hands on it, I was like, oh, this thing's awesome, it's so good. And then we realized that it's like clearly outperforming everything else, and well, at least on console. You don't see quite as much on PC. Definitely on console. There are times where I queue into a match and literally every single person on the enemy team is is just using almost exclusively a Uriel's Gift. It's obnoxious. It's really just annoying, and I don't hate on people who use it. I hate on the fact that I'm seeing so freaking much of it. You know what I mean? So anything that's going to make the Uriel's spam go down, and positive outlook now too, I like mixing up the meta, and if that means pulse rifles are going to rise up to the top, that's fantastic. I think also in tandem with the movement buffs that you're getting across the board, I think you're going to see also hand cannons and SMGs be super popular, and SMGs are already not uncommon, and hand cannons are pretty common on the PC side of things, but those things are only going to get more effective as you can be, you're going to be able to zip in and out, and we saw this a lot in Destiny 1, where auto rifles weren't necessarily bad, but they went underused for the majority of Destiny 1's lifespan, mainly because people learned how to get from cover to cover quickly, and ARs, if your opponent is only exposed for a very limited amount of time, there's only so much damage an AR can do, but with a hand cannon, you're going to be able to do a lot of damage in just a singular bullet. So you just hit them once as they move from cover to cover, and you've taken, a quarter or a third of their health away. So ARs just can't compete when it's a fast-paced environment. We saw that in Destiny 1. You may see that again here in Destiny 2 if the movement speed buffs are substantial, if they're significant. So I would expect to see more hand cannons, also SMGs, as people are going to be zipping around through the air. SMGs are really, really good in the air, and they're really, really good with mobile builds, so you'll see more SMGs as well. So that's pretty cool. You're also probably going to see an increase in overall opponent aggression. So opponents might tend to be a little bit more aggressive than they were previously, because when everyone hears, hey, massive movement speed buff, people want to move. I mean, they don't say, oh, that's awesome, and then sit in a corner. Most people, they want to feel that mobility, so they sort of force themselves to use that mobility, which means they're moving more, which means they're more aggressive, which means they're out from cover more often. So you may just see more movement in general, which is a very, very good thing. I really hope it plays out that way, because in the current state, there's a lot of times where matches get really boring and really dull because they are so slow, because people aren't moving, especially in Clash. Clash is, it's the butts right now. Don't enjoy Clash. I like Control and I like Supremacy because it gets people moving. Clash does quite the opposite in a lot of cases. Clash deters and discourages movement, at least in the current sandbox. So with the new updates, hopefully we get a lot more player aggression. That would be the cat's friggin' pajamas. So those are my main predictions based on the information that we've been given, and I wouldn't mind seeing any of these things come to fruition. If they come to a reality, that would be fantastic as far as I'm concerned. Now, we don't know all the details. We don't know what else is wrapped up in this sandbox update. We don't know the details about the weapon buffs. But one thing I am hopeful for is I would really love to see a rise in Dawnblade use. I would love to see Bungie address this subclass and find a way to make it shine in the new sandbox, because it's been pretty undervalued, underused, underappreciated. And there's so much going on in those skill trees that just does not get utilized, does not get capitalized on. And I would really love to see an environment where the Dawnblade can really shine. There's so much synergy going on in those skill trees, and I'm excited to see players embrace that. I'm excited to play against really good Dawnblade users in PvP. So hopefully Dawnblade gets a little bit of love, and some of the changes favor that subclass. I hope the in-air accuracy is also raised. They did not say that in the information we've been given so far, but I think that that's a must if you're going to see subclasses like the Dawnblade really get used and embraced. It's a shame to have a brand new subclass introduced into the Destiny universe and then not a lot of people play it. You know what I mean? It's just a bummer that it sort of goes under the radar. So hopefully we see more of the Dawnblade in the new sandbox that we get to experience. So I'm really excited for the sandbox. I'm really excited for the new update, and hopefully you are too. And I think that this is really going to shake things up. We may not be getting a DLC next month, but we may as well be, because the overall climate that we're going to be playing in is going to get dramatically changed. So radical change is good, radical change is needed, especially if you're going to lure players back into the Destiny universe. You have to have a reason for them to come back, and a major shift to the sandbox might just be that thing. So I'm pumped about it. I'm keeping myself involved in D2 right now, just to keep myself warmed up and acclimated to the environment, so that when those changes come, I can really hop right into it and kick some booty. So hopefully you enjoyed the video, hopefully you enjoyed the gameplay, and thanks for stopping by, guys, and I hope to catch you in the Crucible.